feel like a star, but only strictly where I'm famous. I'm in this for the longest haul, like we'll see where it takes us. I'm throwing back these double shots like whiskey here is weightless. Cause this career I chose was even riskier than Vegas, yo.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Colby Rebel Show. I am your host, Colby Rebel, where my goal is to answer that question or make that connection. So please be sure to join me. If you have a question, put it in the comments. Ask your question, and let's do it, okay? And I just kind of wanted to take a moment to go over some upcoming events that we have coming up. We do have the development circles coming up. They are next week. So we have our beginners circle, which is Wednesday nights. And we also have our advanced circle, which is Tuesday nights. So come and join me there. We have June 13th. That starts our advance. So if you're looking to deepen that connection, maybe build that fluidity, work on that message, join me for the advance. And then, of course, if you're looking to just build those gifts, tap in a little bit more, the beginners is really going to be perfect for you. And that starts June 14th. So they run 4 weeks long for each one. Then also, I'm very, very excited that coming on the 25th of this month, I am going to be live in LA. So very excited for an evening of spirit messages live in LA. And that is going to be June 25th. So everything is available, but this is an evening of spirit messages, connecting to your loved ones on the other side, and very, very excited to do that finally in the LA area once again. So just wanted to kind of give those out and give a little shout out to everyone. The other thing too to kind of go over is I kind of want to talk about when you're going through a difficult time, because it seems like lately a lot of people have been at a bit of a crossroads, maybe not feeling their most energetic self, not feeling as if things are running smoothly for them. And what happens when we kind of hit those bumps in the road? Because everyone hits those bumps, right? You can certainly encounter them. And what does that mean for you? So, a lot of times, those bumps are really the universe's way of telling you that you are ready for a transition, that it's time to make a change or a shift. And a lot of times we have trouble doing that, right? We want to stay in that fear space rather than expand and grow. Not because we don't want to grow, but we're afraid of where it will take us. Will we lose? Will we fail? We kind of look at the negative aspects rather than looking at the positive. Where can it take me? What will change? How can I overcome anything that's holding me back in this moment? So, as you really navigate these waters, ask yourself for support. Ask yourself for support through the universe. What does that look like for you? And really allow that opportunity to kind of say, okay, wait a second. I am here growing. I am here doing my thing. And how can I change and manifest that? And how can I really take advantage of this situation that I may be enduring or encountering? Right. And so, as we really work through those things, giving yourself that permission that it's okay not to feel 100% all of the time. We're really expected to have that happy face, that big smile, but how do we really give ourselves the freedom and the opportunity to say, wait a second, I'm going to nurture myself in this moment? Because when you can nurture and self-care and self-love, you're able to create some healing from within. And that healing will then give you that energy and that clarity to then move forward. So give yourself that patience and that time, and give yourself that warm feeling that you would give a stranger, right? How many times are you there helping someone else? Maybe it's a coworker, a friend, a neighbor. you're there stepping in, helping someone else. Take time to say, what would I do for myself? How can I help myself? Okay. And that is going to be the biggest thing that you can do for yourself is nurture, care, and then allow yourself to trust that the universe is saying, hey, wait a second. There's a vibrational shift here. What is happening? What is changing? And how do you embrace that shift and challenge and change with positivity? And you will see the outlook of positivity will absolutely be a game changer for you. Too many times we sit into the negative attributes. We sit into the negative again in that fear-based worrying, but there's no need to. Those shift, those changes, that journey, that becomes your story. That becomes a way to deepen into your purpose. So accept those challenges and accept that vibrational shift and change with love, with gratitude, and be kind to yourself in the process. Okay. So let us take a look here to see what we have. We've got Miss Nicole. Miss Nicole, we did send you a private message on Facebook. So why don't you check that first, honey, to see if you can get that message first there. And let's take a look here. Amanda, hey, Colby, do you see any more kids for me or my sisters? Oh, I love that one. Okay, here we go. Amanda, I absolutely do feel like so I see two kids stepping in. So that's really what's interesting. I do feel like for one of your sisters, we have one kid. The other sister feels like they may be kind of done. I'm not sure if they're just on the fence, they're not real sure. But the other sister doesn't feel as strong. So I feel like we've got one sister definitely. And then I feel like that other baby coming in would be for you, but again, it's interesting around you because I feel like it's still a little bit of a negotiation. So that's what's going to be kind of fun for you is being able to kind of dabble in it. Like, I think for the most part, I feel like this is a feeling that you are ready and that you want them, but it may be a situation that maybe your spouse, partner, they may be a little bit more on the fence about it, but I feel like it's kind of creating some energetic space around it as well. So it feels like a little bit more space needs to be around creating room for the babies. And I feel like that's when they step in. But what's also really cool is I feel like these two cousins, siblings, right? You and your sibling, your pregnancies might be pretty close. I would say within a year of one another. So that's going to be kind of fun to take a look at as well. But I do feel like this is going to be a lot of fun. Okay. So let us know and let us know if you have any response there because that would be super, super great. And I hope that helps you. Okay. Let's take another one. Here we go. We've got Vanessa here. Vanessa, anything from my daughter's father or parents? What I get around the daughter's father, I feel like there might have been the word that comes in is turbulence. So there may have been some turbulence around him. I feel like definitely there feels to have been some struggle with him, and there may have even been struggle, with maybe emotionally, substance wise. Again, I don't want to wag a finger unless you can confirm it, but I get a sense that he doesn't feel as if he was in a real great place at the time of his passing. He might have been kind of struggling or going through something. So I feel like there's a little bit of that happening. I also feel like he was at a point where there was a lot of redemption. So either looking to fix things, repair things, maybe even repair the relationship. To me, there feels to have been a lot of sense of wanting to fix things, wanting to make things right. And I feel like it was just at a time where everything wasn't all set yet, right? So I do feel like he had a wonderful sense of humor. So I get that around him as well. I also get a J sound. So I don't know if we have a J, George, a Jaden, like a J sound that could be in the living or in spirit, but it gives me a sense, Vanessa, of being connecting as well. So if you could take that, let us know. And I feel like there's something around that as well. And I just know that for him, it's a wild sense of I don't I don't quite feel that this passing was expected. I feel like this is an unexpected passing. So I do get that as well, Vanessa. Okay. So I do get that sense as well. And I do know that he gives me the feeling of there was a great love for his daughters, but I almost feel like he didn't quite know how to be there. I think he didn't quite know how to kind of show up in the way that maybe he was needed most. But again, it's not that he didn't want to. I think he was in a transition, right? Of working that out, of trying to work that out. It's interesting because I just feel like there's a little bit of loss that he has around you. So it's interesting around that because I feel like either you weren't with him at the time of his passing in a relationship, but I have a sense that he was trying to fix that or always longed for that repair. So I do get that sense around him. I know that he's got a lot of love. I feel like the girls are very, very close in age as well. And it gives me a feeling of, I do think that the girls themselves are doing very, very great. So I feel like the girls are just doing wonderful. And he's really giving me a sense where he is so, so proud of them. Okay. So he's giving me a sense of being very, very proud of them, and I know that you're doing an amazing job. And I just feel like he just wants to give you a lot of love around it. So I will leave that with you, honey. Okay. Okay. Heather wants to hear from her mom. The thing I get around your mom is a riot. So I feel like your mom was a riot. So Heather, if you can take that, make sure you comment here. I just feel like she was just, I don't know, full of life. I mean, it's just the minute I heard mom, I heard burst of energy around her. So I feel like there was a burst of energy with her. I just feel like very optimistic, I feel like, about things, always kind of a positive comment, coming in with something positive to say. So I really get there's a sense of that with her. I also feel like around her passing, there has feels to me there have been an illness, and perhaps a long-term illness, and it just gives me a sense of her really like a fight or struggle that I get to really work hard to try to overcome it. So I get that. There's something around her hands too, Heather. Like I almost feel like I don't know if she lost use of her hands or her hands hurt. But she brings me to her hands. So there's a sense of something around that as well. And an A name. I don't know if we can connect to an A name, an Ann or an Amy. Again, first, middle name, living. There's something around an A name that I get with her as well. But I know with her, there is a real, just a sense of taking things in around love, taking things in around life. And I just feel like she feels very close to her family. So I know that she was close to her family. I know that she always had this like these great little nuggets of advice that she would like to give. And so she gives me a warm sense of that as well. So I will leave that with you. Just know that she is with you, she is around you, and I'll leave that with you. Let's see. So with Wendy's got mom or dad. Love it. Mom mom steps in first. So mom really Wendy in. Mom gives me the feeling of, it's interesting. It's not exactly busybody, but I feel like there's a sense where she'd like to be in the know. So I feel like she didn't like to be left out of anything. So if something was going on, she wanted to be in the know. Because I feel like it definitely helped her feel important, right? It helped her feel really important. And I really get the sense with your mom. I feel like there was a kind of many health issues. They were like little health issues over time with mom Wendy. And so I feel like it would be this issue and then this would pop up. So it's almost like your mom was dealing with some chronic stuff. Like I feel like her physical body, there was always just a little something kind of going on. Maybe her back or her legs. Like it just gives me her feet. Like there's just always like a little something that she's dealing with. But she feels strong to me, Wendy. Like I feel like she feels very, very strong, right? So I get the sense where strong willed or strong opinion, that sort of thing. And I know for her, there's a sense where I know for her, there's really if you guys can take it, Wendy, make sure you leave some comments here for us. But I just feel like with your mom, she gives me the sense where I know for her, she just loved really talking with you, connecting with you. So I feel like we're always kind of on the phone with her, always connecting with her. So she gives me that very, very much. Also, it's interesting. I wouldn't be surprised if you see hummingbirds as a sign from her because I feel like there's hummingbirds. She also shows me a little change purse. So I don't know if it's just that you have a little coin purse or you have her coin purse. But she shows me, and it's kind of, I think it's the kind where the two little knobs would like do that. But she shows me this little chain purse, coin purse that she would like to carry. And I just know that she gives me the feeling that she can breathe easily. So she gives me the sense of being able to breathe easily, freely. And I know that she is doing absolutely fabulous on the other side. So I love that. Yes, back problems and Alzheimer's and oh, the coin purse in our stuff. I love it. So just know she wants you to carry that little, I think that was like her lucky little coin purse. So just know that she wants you to, she gives me the sense of wanting you to keep that little coin purse around her. And, the one thing is I feel like, it was nice for her to reunite with your dad. Okay. So I will say that it makes me feel like for her, it was nice to kind of reunite with him. And I feel like, his passing may have been more sudden or unexpected because I almost like she didn't get quite the chance to say goodbyes. So I think that was always kind of an open wound for her. There wasn't that closure for her. But I feel like when she got to see him again, oh, and I have to tell you, he did not, I got goosebumps, he did not change a bit. He looked super handsome. So she was quite taken aback. And your dad actually had a nice romantic side to him. He was very manly, but had a very romantic side to him. So when she showed up, he makes me feel like he had a dozen roses for her. So I just feel like there was a lot of that. So just know that they are together and they're beautiful. And, your mom, she feels so happy. I think she just feels so, your mom liked taking care of people and things, and I feel like, now on the other side, she gets to be with your dad in a way, she gets a chance to take care of him that I feel like she feels that she was denied because he passed so early. She just thought she felt like she was supposed to have more time with him. And so now she gets that time and she absolutely loves it. And just for the record, your mom, even though we know that she was older when she passed, she does not present herself that way. She literally matches your dad's age. So I think you're going to be a little surprised when you see them. They're going to look like one of their wedding photos when you get to see them one day. So just know that they are very much around you and with you and they just send you all of this love, okay? So I will leave that with you, okay? And there we go. Let us do this. Oh, thanks, Wendy. You're so sweet. Thank you, Wendy. Ann. Okay, let us do. Here we go. Miss Liz here would love to hear from Grandpa. I'll tell you what, snug as a bug, sweet as a pea. So, what's really funny that I said that, I think he'd have these little sayings. I feel like he'd walk around and have these little sayings, right? because he gives me that sense of snug as a bug, that sort of thing. So I feel like, he's giving us that, okay? And so just know there's such a sweetness with him. And I will say too, he's a little older when he passes because he shows me like a little bit of that when someone kind of shuffles their feet a little bit, but he also shows me back in time. And he was strong, he was athletic, he was fit. I think he's someone who actually very much took care of himself when he was younger, for sure. Okay. So I know that he gives me a feeling of being also extremely charismatic, Liz. I just feel like he's very, very charismatic and he comes in that way. Just comes in too. It's interesting because I think you definitely would have had a connection with him with you as a baby because he shows me holding you as a baby. So I feel like that was interesting. And it's also neat, Liz, too, is I wonder what's interesting is if you are named after a grandmother or a family member. He does give me Elizabeth, so I'm guessing or assuming maybe your name is Elizabeth, only because he gave me the name Elizabeth. So I'm wondering if that's a connecting name that came from others in the family, because he gives me that feeling a little bit around you as well. So he loved that. I just feel like he loved your name, so it makes me feel as if he might have had a part in that or a connecting name, something like that. I just know for him too. So it is. I've been named after my grandma. Well, just know he loved that name too. And what's interesting too, I don't know if you know this, but I feel like your grandpa had like a little chain. I can't quite tell what the chain is. The chain doesn't necessarily feel like it's a pocket watch chain. I'm not real sure why he's showing me a chain, or if he had a lot of keys on a chain, or if you would be able to connect to that. I'm not. I'm not real sure of that connection, but I can hear jingling with him when he walks. So I get a sense that there's a chain and a lot of keys, or the chain is attached. So he gives me a little bit of that for some reason. I just know that he also comes forward with a lot of resilience and a lot of love. And I know that he was very, very, you were just so adorable to him, and he loved that connection with you. And I just feel like he's very, very much a guide around you. Okay. So just know and trust that he is with you and he is a guide around you. So I will leave that with you, honey. Okay. Let us do another one here. Let's do Debbie here. So Debbie is anniversary at the end of this month. I know that your hubby is with you all the time, Debbie. It's interesting because he tells you you're strong enough to be on your own 2 feet now, but I also feel like that's difficult for you. I almost feel like you just feel like you can't, or it's hard for you to feel like you can. And I just know that he's there. He tries to push you and tries to encourage you to do that, and to know that he is very much around you. And there's not a lot of words. He's not really the biggest talker, but I feel like he was big in actions, big in always doing things to take care of you, always doing things to show you, always doing things to take care. Whether that's making sure the lawn was mowed, making sure he was carrying the bags for you. He just, always little things, repairs around the house. Always making sure that you didn't have to kind of worry about things again. It feels like a sense where he adores you. And I think, again, a lot of ways he didn't necessarily know how to tell you, so he showed you, right? It was those like little random acts of love that he would do. I keep seeing he just didn't want you to lift anything. He didn't want you to take out the trash, or he didn't want you to lift the heavy groceries. Like, he just gives me the sense that he was making sure he carried the things for you. He didn't want you going up a ladder. It's like all these things that I feel like he's like, no, no, I'm doing that. I don't want anything to happen. So he gives me that around you. I just know that he absolutely loves you. And he just feels like, he wants you to enjoy life. He wants you to have fun. And he wants you to know very, very much that he is with you. Okay. All right. Let's talk to Miss Shalita. So, Miss Shalita is one of my students whom I love to pieces. So, let's see what's coming in for Miss Shalita. Miss Shalita, the first thing is it is really stepping into your power. So I know we've got your granddad on the other side, and your granddad really gives me the sense of telling you to believe in yourself, to put on that crown, to know that you are meant to help change people's lives. So he gives me that very, very much. It's also a sense to finding like your tone, so maybe you struggle with either believing in your tone or finding your tone. But he keeps saying, go inwards, like go inwards, and it's all right there. So I think it's just a more of, working on that confidence of things, not worrying about what others are saying or worrying about judgment of others, maybe. Maybe you're worried about what some family or friends or those around you would think. But I feel like he's telling you, don't worry about what anybody thinks, to trust yourself in your process. Okay. He shows me a wallet with lots of money in it. So either, he gives me the sense that he would have been very good about his money. He would have been good about how he handled his money. So he gives me that a lot around it. But he also keeps showing me that as a sign for you to know that the money is coming. So to trust that the money is coming, that the money will be there, and to trust that process. Okay. So just know that he is very, very much there for you. And I think it's just a matter of understanding that you are doing things right. And so he's very, very proud of that. And I will leave that with you. You are so welcome, Debbie. You are welcome, 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 honey. Hi, Guy. Nice to see you. Okay, here we go. Let's pick another one. How about Peggy? Would love to hear from her son. So, what's interesting, Peggy, your son, it's interesting because your son, I'm kind of curious if he was in his 20s when he passed. So if you get this, let us know. I'm almost feeling like he may have been in his 20s, something like that. Because I almost feel like he was old enough to start to know who he is. I feel like he was old enough to start to know who he is. But yet not old enough to be fully established. So a little bit of a crossroads with where he was in life. So I get that a little bit around him. Early 30s. Okay, that's fine. But I just feel like he was in a place of like finding himself, in a place of transition, which is interesting, right? In a place of transition, in a place of being there. And I get a sweetness about him, Peggy. I get a sweetness about him that I feel like he is very, very sweet. So he gives me that, right? Vanessa, I think you're going to have to listen back because I'm pretty sure I gave you a reading at the top of the hour here. So you're going to have to listen to the replay. I don't know if you stepped away for a bit, but you'll have to listen back, honey. So, but Peggy, right, early 30s, but I get a sweetness around him. I get a sense of helping out as well. Like, I feel like he loved to kind of help you out. I feel like he feels like he had a very close bond with you. I feel like there's just something about him where I feel like in some ways, like he was just beginning. Like, that's the kind of, Peggy, can you understand that, honey? Like, he's just beginning or he's just getting started. So it's like a new chapter, a new point. So I feel like there's a bit of unexpectedness around this passing. Like we weren't I don't know, because he feels optimistic prior to this. Feels very optimistic, like I got this, I'm doing this. So he gives me the sense of that around it. Also, what's interesting too, I feel like he might have had a young child. So is that correct that he had a young child also trying to get his life together? Great. I could feel that. I could feel that optimism with him. I could just feel like he gives me the sense of wanting to do it right this time or wanting to get it right. Also, I don't know if you can, okay, no children. I do feel like what's interesting is I feel like he would have had a family and he would have had kids, if things had kind of worked out. I just feel like then there wasn't enough time, but I feel like it was on his radar. I feel like those were his goals or his intentions. Okay, Peggy. And I also know with him, I just feel like there's a sense where I feel like you never gave up on him. So I feel like you were always by his side, trying to be supportive, trying to be there. And I feel like no matter what, you just didn't give up on him. And he knew you hadn't given up on him. Now I know he needed that tough love sometimes, and I feel like that was really good. So I feel like, don't ever feel I think that was a good thing for him that he really needed. I just almost feel like it's interesting. I'm wondering if there was a substance thing at all. So I'm just kind of wondering. So I'm wondering that. So I'm feeling like there might have been a little bit of that. So I just know, though, with your son, he gives me the sense of so much, so much love for you. I think it was just a moment of he didn't want to disappoint anybody. You know what I mean? And yes, tough love, exactly. And that's but I want you to know that you guys did it right, Peggy. He lets me know he needed that kick in the butt. There's also tattoos, Peggy. So I feel like more than one person has a tattoo for him. So you may have a tattoo and a sibling, but I keep feeling like he gives me the sense that there are tattoos for him. So I will, let you know that he shows me that. He also, what's also kind of really interesting, Peggy? He just showed me, and his girlfriend does. Wonderful. He just showed me an eagle. So I know that's kind of really interesting. I feel like an eagle. So that's so interesting. I know that absolutely could represent freedom and going out, but I feel like there's something about an eagle of knowing that to be a sign for him. Okay. So understanding and knowing that, and also possibly a hawk. So it's interesting that you might see eagle or hawk and know that that's him really showing you that he is around. Okay. So it's almost showing you that. And I just feel like, in some ways, he's always going to be your little boy, right? I feel like he's always going to be your little boy. And he was such a precious little kid. He makes me feel like innocent, sweet, super cute. It's just like a cute little button, like he might have a little button nose or something. He just gives me that sweetest little look with him. And I feel like you always saw that inside of him, Peggy, and he knows you did. And if you don't mind, he does want to let this girlfriend know that he really loved her. And she also, I think, was trying to step in, to trying to help him, to trying to get him to change his life. And I feel like he wanted to. I feel like he absolutely wanted to. But he wasn't the best at dealing with his emotions. And so what happened is, I feel like when he would get stuck or anxious or stressed, I feel like that's when the kind of pitfalls would happen, when he felt like he wasn't in the place he should be, or put that pressure on himself. I feel like he leaned into substances possibly, and I believe that that's just it was a coping mechanism, and he even though he was trying to move away from it and he could feel that love and support, sometimes those things just become a crutch, right? They just become this idea, and it's almost an autopilot thing. And so obviously I know that he wishes he could take all of that back, but I will just tell you, he gives me so much love. And just know, what's interesting is I do feel like I am hoping that the girlfriend has been able to work on that, because I feel like he's been working on the girlfriend to help her with her own issues. Also, Peggy, I don't know if you recognize an M name, like a Michael connection at all, but I keep hearing an M, like a Michael. So it'd be interesting to know if you recognize that name for the living or in spirit. Let us know. But just know that your son is around you very, very much. And I know you believe in him. You always believed in him, and he always appreciated you for being there, for standing by him, and for the ways that you celebrate him each and every day. So he really enjoys that as well. So I will leave that with you, honey, okay? And here we go. Wendy, your reading just completely changed my mood and mindset for the better. You are so welcome, Wendy Ann. You're so welcome. My recent husband's name starts with an M. Okay, well there we go there. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's talk to Trisha about the custody issues. Trisha, I'm telling you the custody issues feel tough, okay? And I'm sorry to say that. I wish I could say this is easy breezy. I really do. I wish I could say this is a slam dunk. Don't worry. And it will work out okay. Okay. It's going to work out, but there's a lot of resistance. There's a lot of negative energy around it. It's I see claws out. So that makes me feel like there's almost an attack on you in a way, right? Either someone's trying to make you look not fit, someone's trying to it's weird. I got goosebumps around it. So I want you to be careful around who you're trusting with what you're sharing. I So Trisha, look, it's interesting. I feel like there is someone, I'm just gonna say, and I mean this, I don't want to create fear here, but I'll tell you what's coming in. There is someone that I feel like you are talking to that's kind of in your camp, or that knows that I would be careful whether or not you could fully trust them, because I actually feel like they're going back and kind of going behind your back with things as well. So I don't want to make you nervous or worried or anything like that, but just be careful of who you are sharing things in, okay? Who you are sharing, okay? So that is important to know. But perseverance is the big key. I want you to persevere. Don't be intimidated, because they're trying to bully you. Okay. They're trying to bully you. They're trying to kind of run you out of town, so to speak. So I wouldn't be surprised if literally they're trying to run you out of the area, run you out of your home, run you out of something. But just know that I want you to just sit with that and just kind of feel your own power in this, okay? Because I feel like, this is the slow and steady race, but I feel like and don't let the money, like, I keep feeling like they're going to try to threaten money or use money and custody as part of things. So just stand strong with this. I want you to stand strong and did it, and just know that, okay? So lots of love to you through this. I can only imagine how stressful it is, but I want you to stand strong. Don't give the girlfriend any energy or power, okay? I want you to stand strong in this. I feel like this is going to work out for you. It's just, I just feel like it's going to take longer than you anticipated. And I feel like they're just going to try to break you down, and just be strong with this. And this is going to work out. Okay, honey? Absolutely, Vanessa. You are welcome. Happy birthday to you. And there we go. Thank you, Miss Chalita. I really appreciate that very, very much. And let's see if we've got just one more here. How about this one here? So, what do you see from my oldest son and career? Thank you. Hi, Karen. Let's see. For your oldest son, here's what's interesting. I feel like there's going to be a career shift. So I feel like he might have had an idea for one direction. And I feel like at the last minute, that direction is changing. So he might have even gone to school for one direction or really, but I feel like his direction is going to change. Okay. And so what's interesting is I think that that's going to make him a lot happier. So I almost feel like it's going to come out of the blue. I almost feel like we're going to go, oh, wow. Okay. We weren't expecting that. But I want you to really trust it because I feel like that would make him a lot happier. You know, it's interesting too. I feel like he would be good as a mentor or a coach also. So it's going to be interesting to see what he does. But I could see him being around a group of people and really helping them, being a part of their experience as well. So I feel like he could be really good like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, if he ended up as like a coach or a mentor, because I just feel like he would be really good with that as well. It's also interesting too. I wonder if he's got an interest in music or creative arts, because I feel like there's a part of him that might have some music or creative art gifts as well. So just know that I feel like he's going to work out just fine. I just think, it's a little bit of, I think he's trying too hard to think of the right thing to do or the right path. Like he's kind of looking at it from a point of security versus passion. So just get him to kind of trust his gut more towards what brings him that joy and what he's passionate about, because I feel like he's actually going to be really, really good at it. And that's going to be the magic key to him being very, very successful. I feel like he's going to turn out just fine, Karen. So as a mommy, I know you're always worried, but I feel like he's going to do just fine. Okay. So lots of love to you. All right, everybody. That is the end of this particular episode. I want to thank you guys for stepping in, for asking your questions, for those who've got connections. Thank you guys so much. Every Thursday night, we are here. So please come and join me. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate you sharing the podcast. Always visit me, join the email list for sure. Hop on over to the website, join the email. This way you're going to get the inside scoop on when we're going live, what's going on, and a chance to be on the podcast. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful night, and I will see you next week. Thank you guys. Bye, everyone.
Thank you for listening to the Colby Rebel Show. Be sure to follow Colby on social media at Psychic Rebel. And if you've enjoyed this podcast, please head on over to iTunes to leave a review to help Colby grow the tribe. Colby is an international psychic medium, teacher, best-selling author, and speaker. She is a master teacher of the Lisa Williams International School of Spiritual Development and is the owner of the Colby Rebel Spirit Center in Los Angeles. Visit colbyrebel.com.